It's October 26, 2021. Alright, some keynotes from the field. I'm traversing alone in this topiary labyrinth. I've got upper gamma that I'm watching from a quantitative and qualitative state, trying to make notations wherever I can, and while I'm walking at a lower gamma state, completely in the symbolic system. I don't know why. Alright, like somewhere in the world, there exists a career field. There's a really handsome, tall gentleman that I belong to. And there's a career field where I build instrument panels for a living. There are symbolic differences. So in customization of the field, people don't decide to sit in or drive someone else's custom-built machine. Great. I belong to that man. I don't know how many of them there exist in the world or in humanity, but there's one that I belong to, and he does not exist within this Unity feature. Like, he's come to visit within this Unity feature while I've been trapped here under this symbolic gesture of Unity. But I don't know why, when he is in charge of some portion of this Unity feature, between an upper gamma and a lower gamma field of radiation and radiology, where his built machine, or one of them, is trapped and being harmed and subsequently driven by all sorts of really nasty options that we never gave anybody. There's something called a baseline, a storyline, a script. We're going to go Hollywood squares on this one for a moment. He did not design my life to look this way or to develop this way. Neither did I. For some reason, I fell out in the field in a lower gamma position, meant for upper gamma and G-related issues and things, to a man who had a custom-built instrument panel. And he doesn't need to say anymore. That's it. And now, somehow, I got trapped in the field, and I don't know how to find that man. But there is somewhere in the world, it is acceptable to say, no, somebody owns me. Somebody owns me, somebody owns my safety, somebody owns my recall, somebody owns my future, somebody owns my health, somebody owns my design, and that's the person that's missing in this entire system that I'm trapped in. It's the one person I'm missing, my entire daily existence. So let's just have that be said. Second of all, in this lowercase gamma, through something called tele-vision, there is an actress. She is absolutely stunning from afar and fully clothed, stunning woman, lady, and a respectable actress. She calls herself Nicole. The sounds she makes when she references herself is Nicole KIDMAN. I think she's Australian. That's the sounds the humans make when they speak of her while I am trapped in this system under this Unity flag. So, she just came out. I've heard her, who has some kind of Queensland or Australian accent. Sometimes I call it British. I don't really know. It gets confusing. I have this, like, flat, obnoxious, lower-class American whatever in this disgusting arrangement. So she just played a Russian. I'm like, now that's an unusual. I like it though, because it goes along with like why I don't like what the Americans say about the Russians. What I hear, they're just whatever. And the longer this goes on, the worse storytellers they get about the 55. I'm a 22. I got 22s in my shoes at the moment, but I don't harbor any ill will against a 55. Just so we're clear on, this has been a confusing endeavor, and I don't know why they placed on a Rapoggle system the help, like the help that knows everything so far on the other side of the safety feature when it's in a sphere. I mean, I would have moved the helpful people closer, but here we are. So now, let's think about this. So now she's playing a Russian, but she's really Australian, but I've also heard her do one heck of a North American, Canadian, whatever. Gets confusing in Hollywood squares when you have to identify them, because they're really not. They're acting in the moment. They got an accent 1 minute, then they don't the next. Whatever. Then Lynn's watching something. Somebody told her to watch something called Succession. I'm like, So I'm like, go ahead, synopsis, Lynn. I'm not sitting here through this whole bullshit thing I don't really give a shit about. I was like, what are the humans saying? What's this new storyline? And so she's telling me, like, they got this empire they built. They've got to try to, like, protect this empire. I'm like, right. Okay, got it. All right, I'll figure out how to work that one into humanness. I'm like, I'm an alien in alienation. But, like, I'm being isolated alienation as the alien. And then there's an alien nation I belong to I don't have a name for, because the tall guy that built the instrument panel that owns me, and I can't seem to get to talk face to face or have any intimate time, so it's a little difficult to brief your betrothed on who she is, what she's supposed to say, what she's supposed to act and look like, when all the humans become way more important in Hollywood squares than the two creatures that were built for one another. So that's where I'm at. So I'm leaving the park, and today on one of the shows, I saw Lady Antebellum, which changed to Lady A, because Antebellum gets confusing, because she sings this song called American Honey, and I'm like, see, I used to like that when it came out of my, whatever, the person I belonged to, when it came out of his mouth. Honey was like a fine. But then it got tied in and got drawn in meaning of something totally different for other purpose, nefarious level, and now I'm not so keen on the word. So that happened. I'm like, because it's like you build a word or an instrument panel in a word or theory or whatever design, and then all of a sudden some movie scripter, some media director, some corporate weasel, somebody somewhere takes it, paints it all wrong, puts it out to the public, like, here, feed the mongrels. And then all of a sudden your extreme zoologist job's like, fuck! I'm already in a fucking hole. I didn't need that new argument out amongst the whatever humans. Well, I'm being alienated and like abused in this unity system. So now, I'm leaving the park, and there's this kid, Brendan, who my son's known since kindergarten at some family barbecue, only one the school ever had, as far as I know. Apparently he's Secret Service with NYPD. Didn't even know they had their own Secret Service. He informed me. I happen to like to speak to the gentleman. He is a nice gentleman. So now he is sitting in his car. My son's leaving. I'm like, come on, Anton. I was like, don't à la maison maintenant. I was like, Vinici. I was like, Vieni qua. I was like, let's go. Menon. And so I'm walking out, and he's got his window down, and I look at him, and he starts laughing, and I was like, do you see this? I was like, it does not matter what language I speak to this one. I was like, but he doesn't listen. I was like, I don't like this. I said, my first three, I was like, proud to be an American mom. I went out with them. It was like three angels walking down the street, like perfect build. Like, I mean, just proud mom. I was like, this one, I mean, he's as gorgeous as anything, but I was like, but what comes out, I'm like, oh my God, at every turn, it's like, I don't know what happened in and I even said to him, I was like, I don't know what happened in the fourth quarter. 3 quarters, I was golden. I was like, I get to the fourth quarter, and I'm like, holy, I was like, it's not, I don't know who designed him. I don't know who designed him, the storyline, the baseline, and who made this an acceptable look on my son. I was like, but radio stations got some problems. And I just walked away. I mean, it is, and he was, I suppose, American honey color. If you put it in a jar and it's a finished product that you're going to sell on the shelves, he would be considered a honey color. I know sometimes you guys say butterscotch, honey, somewhere in that range. But I don't know what else to say. Because I'm like, this son, this last one, my Mayan calendar baby, he looks like the girl with the Dutch earring or the pearl earrings son. I mean, that's his visual. It's my son. I mean, carbon copy, yes, except one innie, I'm an innie, he's an outie. That's it. Only difference. So, like, this gets really confusing for, like, nobody ever if everybody was doing the right thing, but clearly they're not. And now this gets really confusing from my end, being that I've been purposely somehow, like, stashed away. And it's like, oh, and then I'm like, okay, so now there's some discussion I didn't really catch on The View this morning. They're mad. I mean, it's like a sandstorm. They got a grain of sand, each one of them, built all wrong, from like every beach that's ever been, every boulder that's ever been cracked down to a beach of sand, and then they whirl it up in one machine, and they claim that they know something in human intelligence, and they argue over it. And I'm like, I don't really hear facts coming out of each one of you. I don't think you have a full story between any of you. I wouldn't allow you to socially justice anyone based on how you repeat the facts, how you think the facts are glued together, and where you think the facts originated from. It's like, oh my God, this is they are dangerous. And then it's like, okay, so the first prop of the television coming out in America started in like, what, 50s, 60s? That was a problem. And how it's developed between then to now and on to social media, where now there's feedback into the system. Holy crap. Now you've got, like, law enforcement that can't enforce laws because the kids weren't taught that there were laws even on the table anywhere. And then what? Now you're just going to set these kids up to fall for everybody else's mistakes? I mean, like, who's running this joint? I mean, I'm just sitting in a tetra hole over here as a topiary, and I'm just examining upper gamma, lower gamma. I mean, I got a sky dome that has no color whatsoever. It's not blue, it's like a gray, white, but it's at such a high Omicron photon level of radiation, and it's like sitting in a microwave daily. In Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. I still hold priority in, like, health, safety, welfare, and magneticism. My lightning doesn't even work properly. Like, I've got big weather pattern issues that affect all Hollywood squares in some way, fashion, or form. And I got people fighting over dumb, fucking useless issues. Like, our children are watching. Right, okay, well, were they the same children when they put the Victoria's Secret models and stripped them down half naked and paraded them around like it was like some big like network special time? Were they there then too? Great, then you have no say in my Facebook or my YouTube. I mean, humans have just gotten ridiculous. Seriously. They socially engineered themselves into a fucking pattern and hole in North America, especially in New York. And I don't want to live amongst these people. I don't. I would like to go back to, I design instrument panels, custom instrument panels for really special purpose. And I would like to go back to watching him romance at a chalkboard. And just forget that language even existed for any kind of antenna receiving creature that called itself a human amongst my time frame. When can that happen? Just curious. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It is October 26, 2021. It's Earth, solar system, universe. I'm sorry, Milky Way universe, galaxy is broken.